listening to NFTeaseMe with Mikey Aberline, the show where I interview successful entrepreneurs, artist creators, and thought leaders pioneering the world of NFTs. My guest today is Danielle, who's known as NFTIgnition in the crypto community. Danielle is an NFT advisor. She's the founder of NFT Basics, which is a one-to-one consultancy that provides educational services on NFTs. And today's interview, we're going to be getting a little NFT beginner's lesson today from yourself, Danielle. And I think there couldn't be anyone better to basically explain simply what NFTs are other than you, because you did create NFTBasics.com. So I'm super happy to have you on the show. Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, I love helping people learn about NFTs.
So we'll keep it pretty simple. What is an NFT? For someone who's a beginner, doesn't know what's going on with the 69 million Beeple piece and just lots of crypto art going for crazy amounts of money. What is an NFT?
So an NFT is a type of token in the crypto space. But what's unique about it is that it has space for an image. So you can mint any piece of art or, a document, a poem, a painting, even like a weapon for a game, some more complicated things, even insurance policies I've seen. But basically, in its most simple format, it's just a verifiable piece of art.
So what does NFT stand for?
So it actually stands for non-fungible token. And I'm not sure who picked that for the naming, because I don't think that's the most important aspect of NFTs. But, that's what we've got, and we stick to it.
And what is a non-fungible token?
Basically, what that means is that each one is completely unique. So to compare it to something like Bitcoin, if somebody were to take one of your Bitcoins and to give you back one Bitcoin, you're probably not going to care, except for the fact that they're, messing with your tokens. If somebody takes one of your NFTs and gives you back a different NFT, it has a completely different value. It has different imagery. It has different, there could be sentimental value if you knew the person who created it, but one does not have the same value as another. Here's a good example. So 2 grandfather clocks. One that your father made in high school, one that his classmate made in high school. They used the same, cuts and design, and the grandfather clocks look the same, but this one has some sentimental value to it because, your father made it. And so I think NFTs kind of bring in a new ideas, because you can become attached to them like that because it's associated with the person who made it.
Okay, that's really interesting. So NFTs, they are a type of cryptocurrency, but the difference between an NFT and, say, traditional currencies is that you can see who they were created by and who they're attached to.
Yeah, and it kind of brings in the whole reputation thing. So you can see everything an artist has created, every person that's ever purchased them, the values of them over time. This is something you can't do in the regular art world. So say you have a famous painting that you paid $100,000 for. Well, you had to pay somebody to come over and tell you it was worth that. You had to, the industry told you that it was worth that based on other people buying those paintings. But in crypto, you go online and you see, oh, okay, somebody else bought this painting for an ETH, and then somebody paid 2 ETH for it, and then 3 ETH, and the value's going up. People like their other work. A lot of times you can find out who the person is on Twitter and get to know them as a person, which I think is really important too.
Awesome. So NFTs, they're not just pictures. What other assets are they? Digital assets are they?
Because you're able to upload an image, you can pretty much put any type of file on them. Anything that can be stored on your computer, you can turn into an NFT. So for example, people are doing houses, selling a house. Now the mortgage is an NFT, or the deed to the house is an NFT.
Who's doing that?
I can't remember exactly, but the other day there was a house. I could probably send you the link after this. I'll have to look for it. But
Was it a real house or was it a
yep,
virtual land
it
house?
was
Oh my God.
a real physical house, and people were bidding on the NFT. Whoever pays the most and buys the NFT owns the house. So the housing market right now in general is really competitive. People are paying, bidding 30 grand more than what a house is worth, and it's not even being looked at. Like, for example, yesterday I was watching on the news and they had a house that was for sale and they had a line of like 200 people. They gave them lottery ticket numbers like in an envelope to see who could even look inside the house and bid on it. Because there were so many people that showed up, they couldn't even handle them all.
So is this in the States?
Yeah.
That's a big, wow.
Opening up the housing market to everyone. I mean, NFTs are available for everybody. You could be in Africa or India or the United States, and you could purchase this house via NFT. I can't even imagine the prices are going to go crazy, I think. But yeah, there's a lot of ways that you can use them besides just art. Gaming, for example. There's some NFT games where the NFT is either your character, like Axes, for example. You have this they're just like little blobs with ears and stuff. They're really cute, but that's your character that you play in the game and you fight with your NFT. So they're in-game assets.
So you can have in-game assets, you can have mortgage contracts. I think you can have Ethereum domain names as well. So like rather than traditional website names, you get Ethereum domain website names. They're NFTs as well.
So that's actually, those are wallet addresses. They're called ENS. Okay. So I have one, for example, it's NFTIgnition.eth. And if somebody wants to send money to my wallet for whatever reason, they can type that in instead of the long string of numbers and letters, and then just send it that way.
Okay, so it's a wallet. It's not like your own actual website.
Correct.
Okay, interesting. And then you can get music files as well. Mm-hmm. You can get podcasts like this one. Anything else we're missing?
Books, comic books, articles. Sometimes people have physical items that are attached to NFTs, like Descent, for example. If you own the NFT, you can buy merch with that image on it, but you have to buy the NFT. They're kind of linked together.
What's Descent for our listeners and viewers who
it's a merch company. Sure they sell, they call them phygital items. So it's a combination of digital and physical items. They've had a collab with Meme in the past, and they work with just like artists to turn their art into like a shirt or a wall hanging.
Oh, awesome. I know Ferocious is doing those kind of things with his shoes.
Yes, exactly. Awesome. Phygital, I think having physical attached with these will help some people kind of understand them better. People who aren't used to just the digital stuff.
So a phygital, you'd have your NFT as a digital asset and then in the physical as well. It'd be like a duplicate. Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I've never heard of digitals till now. Okay, awesome. And what is it about NFTs that got you interested? Like, how did you hear about it? When did you first get involved?
Yeah, so I just got into crypto in August, and I heard about NFTs in about October when Meme came out.
What's Meme?
Meme is a project where you stake a token and you earn like in-game credits that you exchange for NFTs. So you can earn over time a whole collection of NFTs. That really got me into the whole idea of it. And, being in the chats and meeting other people, it was just a rabbit hole. Like once you get into them, you don't go back out. You just kind of become obsessed. One thing I really liked was, I think it's helping bring value to art and artists, which over time we've kind of devalued art. And right now with the way things are going, we need art in the world and we need artists, and we should be valuing them, and they should be able to survive off of, if somebody spends 12 hours on a painting, they shouldn't be selling it on the side of the street for $100. Like, this is our opportunity to help artists find their value and kind of be in the beginning of this whole technological revolution.
No, I totally agree with that. Like NFTs are democratizing the arts, which has been like a
Hmm.
long time coming. Like
Yeah.
I think what is it? The notion of starving artists is slowly, hopefully, maybe becoming a bit of a thing of the
Yeah.
past, which is like
Right.
awesome.
For
Totally.
sure.
And I think I once heard you mention that you did a lot of NFT farming. Can you
Mhm.
explain what that is?
Yeah. So recently, NFTs and DeFi have been kind of intersecting. And DeFi, for those of you who are unfamiliar, it's short for decentralized finance, basically earning APY in other ways other than like a bank, like something similar to a CD where you would lock your money in an account for a little bit higher APY than your bank account was getting. You can do that in crypto, and the APYs are much higher. And then you're not dealing with a bank. So you can do this with NFTs instead of tokens, where you're staking an NFT and earning tokens back by staking your NFT in the website.
Okay, so you'd earn interest basically
Yes.
by staking your NFT in this website. Okay, that makes
Correct.
total sense. I think some wallets do that as well, like Trezor Wallet, is that one maybe? Or
Um,
Gemini.
Yeah, for tokens. I don't think any wallets have come out with it for NFTs yet, but there's a lot of projects doing it and it's getting a lot more popular. I think impermanent loss is one thing that people like to avoid. And that's involved when you have two different types of tokens that you're combining to stake. And if the value of one of those two tokens goes down, then you kind of lose some of your crypto basically if you withdraw it at that point. Now, if you stake an NFT, you're just buying the NFT with ETH. You're paying one token. You get to stake that, and you have no risk of impermanent loss. And then you can pull the NFT out and sell it, of course, if you'd like. And because it has utility, they're often pretty easy to sell.
Wow. Tell us about NFT Basics because that's the consultancy or course that you run. And I think you have another project called NFT Comedy.
Yeah. So NFT Basics was I built basically for when I meet artists and they don't know what NFTs are, trying to give them a way because some people are just more visual learners or like to read something versus being talked at. So just giving myself another way to help these artists kind of learn about NFTs and how to make them in the most basic sense. Like I left out all the technical stuff and just boiled it down to what is a wallet, what is Ethereum, and how to mint.
Okay, awesome. And then there's NFT Comedy.
Yeah. So to me, I thought the best way to get people involved in NFTs was with humor. And at the time when gas was cheap, I would just make funny things and just like mint them and throw them into people's wallets like surprise, like in my mind it was kind of similar to when you're on Facebook and people have those like gifts that they comment with and it's just like
Yeah.
the perfect comments, like somebody says something and you just have that perfect gift for them. Like that was kind of how I was like made the connection, and I just wanted people to wake up and look and laugh and when they look in their wallet and make it more approachable and make people think of other ways to use them, because at the time people were just making art on them. There wasn't memes weren't really being minted yet at this point. So I reached out to somebody named Squeezy Jibs, and he is a comedian who does like visual comedy. There are screenshots of like conversations he has with people, and they're super funny. And he just has this personality where he's basically a walking meme. So I was like, well, if anybody can make somebody laugh with just an image, it's going to be him. He
Okay.
didn't know what NFTs were when I reached out to him. He had never bought crypto, but surprisingly, he figured most of it out on his own. Like I mentioned, hey, make some NFTs. Like I've been making these funny ones, and I sold one. Like, and I kind of got hyped about it. And then 5 minutes later, he's like, "So which one's better, Rarible or OpenSea?" I was like, "Yes, he's reading about it. He's looking into it." And then recently, the Nyan Cat, Chris, he's been reaching out to all these meme people and getting them on foundation and selling all these memes for, you know, $500,000 and whatnot. So I think I was just too early.
Too early?
For the comedy. But, you
Okay.
know, I just got Squeezy an invite to foundation. So, you know, it's been months. We're going to try it again.
Awesome. That sounds awesome. So like what I kind of thought of when you said you were doing sort of comedic little lines or emails to people, I thought of Pranksy's NFT boxes. Was it kind of similar like that? You get something funny in your inbox, which just brightens up your day.
Yep.
And that's an NFT. Is that like a subscription service or are they collectibles?
Yeah, so I had at the time, well, it's still on there now. It's called the do call list. So instead of, you know, the do not call list that you can tell people to put you on when you get a call from a spammer, this is the opposite, where you give us your address and you ask us to spam you with random NFTs. And so people sign up, give us their ETH address, and then, you know, just randomly I would send out like 1,000 of these.
Wow.
It was cheap enough back then. The gas was cheap enough that I could do that. Like I used to think of it as a stamp because it was 70 cents to send an NFT.
That is so cheap. Like I've been on certain platforms when gas has been really high, like just for like trading different crypto and stuff. And it would be something like $100 just to trade a bit of crypto for another piece of crypto, which is insane. So people listening or viewing this might not know what gas fees are. Can you explain simply what are the gas fees?
Sure. So there's several different blockchains that NFTs can be hosted on. Ethereum is the most common and the one that they've been on for the longest. Anytime you have a transaction where you access the Ethereum ledger, there's a gas fee. So what that means is if you send something, if you make a trade, if you, you know, change anything regarding your tokens or your NFTs, there's a gas fee for that. And the fees are higher if the network is congested. And bull season, the prices have been going up, the network is more congested, so the fees for transactions have been much higher. But there are alternative blockchains to use for minting NFTs. Matic is a really good example. It's still very new, like OpenSea is still in beta mode over there, but you can mint for free an NFT on Matic and list for free once they have the list feature there. It was supposed to be there February. So really? it could be any day now. Like they got a lot of money to build that and they are working on it.
So that's two different blockchains you mentioned. You mentioned Ethereum, which is the main one everyone knows about. There's Matic. Are there any other ones?
Yeah. So Wax is probably the most common one that's used besides Ethereum. It's pretty much gasless. The people minting do need to have a little bit of what is called RAM. It's a separate kind of token other than Wax. And they have to have some coding abilities in order to mint on there. But for the users, for the buyers, it's quick, it's gasless, and it's easy to use for the buyers. Now, so it's a little tricky for the people who are making the NFTs. So you definitely want to, do some research if you're on that side of it.
So if you didn't want to learn how to do code or have RAM token, where would you go? Somewhere like Rarible, just somewhere you just literally click upload and mint?
Yep. And that's exactly how Rarible works. You just upload your image, you add a description and a title, how many copies you want, and you click mint. You pay your gas fee, and then it's minted on the blockchain. It's available for you to link and sell.
Awesome. But I think I heard something that not NFTs which are on Rarible aren't actually minted on blockchain. They're minted on third-party sites, and to do it on blockchain, it has to be with code. So most crypto art and digital assets aren't done with code because most people aren't actually.
You mean the image itself?
Yeah.
It's hosted on Rarible? Yeah. So That's true of most minting platforms, that the image is hosted in a centralized location or IPFS, both of which is not the perfect scenario. There is one example of, it's called Mural, and their token is called the Paint token, and that is completely on chain. And they just moved over to Matic. So you can now do that gasless as well.
Wow. Okay. This is this seems like totally different, like blockchains and token names, which is, there seems to be a lot to know.
Yeah, that's why, with NFT Basics, and when I talk to people who are new to crypto, their best bet really is just to pay the gas fees, to be on Rarible, to learn about the process of selling your art and getting to be involved in the community, and focus on that before they dive into the more technical and complicated systems to use.
Awesome. So, I mean, I'm just trying to picture you talking to your friends and family about some of the work you do with NFTs. Like, unless they're part of the NFT community, they won't know what you're on about. What are the biggest misconceptions that you found people have had on NFTs?
The biggest thing people will say to me is, I'm not into NFTs because I don't like art, which to me is like, how can you not like art? Like, the show that you're watching is a form of art. Like, that billboard that you like is a form of art. The video game you play is a form of digital art. Like, people like art that don't realize it, but just that they think that that's all NFTs are. And they can be, but the utility and the possibilities with them is huge. Having this basically file that's verifiable, that you can send to people and you can prove its history. There's so many things that you can do with that. You can send locked documents, and you can have locked NFTs, for example. But, for me, making money off of them is what people really want to do. And I think that's why the gaming and the DeFi is going to be really what brings people into the NFT space more than the art.
Okay. I think you buy and create and flip NFTs as well. I don't know. I was having a look on your NFT Basics.
Yeah. I've pretty much done everything when it comes to NFTs. I have created my own. I've made my own art. I've done a lot of breeding in Alpaca City.
You've done breeding?
Yes.
What does that mean?
This is another example where it's DeFi
Please don't tell
and
us
NFTs.
anything illegal.
No. So it's another example of the DeFi and NFTs combined. Are you familiar with CryptoKitties at all?
Yep, CryptoKitties.
Okay,
why don't you explain to the viewers, listeners about CryptoKitties?
So CryptoKitties in Alpaca City is similar. So you have NFTs that are animals, either a cat or an alpaca, and you can breed them together and get more NFTs. And you do pay tokens to do this, but you can essentially create more characters for a game, or for more DeFi breeding, or for more DeFi staking, or whatever you're using the NFTs for. You have a way to make more of them for yourself. And in both instances, there are like more rare and less rare versions. So you could try to breed to get a certain type of alpaca or cat. Say you want one with like a rainbow behind it and a unicorn horn. Like, you could find certain parents and keep breeding them until you get the combination that you wanted to get that rainbow and horn on it.
So wait, are you the one creating that NFT yourself? Because they're not going to actually breed just by putting two cards next to each other.
It's all in the coding. You do essentially put two cards in the system, you pay a fee, and then you get another NFT. You don't actually, breed them yourself. There's
Wow.
a system.
Okay, all right. That makes total sense. Because I was literally just like, what is Danielle on about? Okay, but that makes total sense. Okay, so NFTs, like they can be released as one-on-ones, they can be released as collections, but how are you able to verify when something that's part of a collection, for example, is the original NFT?
Yeah, so it kind of depends on what kind of NFT it is. The easiest ones to verify are the ones that are from a project, like Alpaca City, Poly Games, for example, the kittens. You can click on the contract that created it, and it brings you back to everything else they've ever created. Or, if it's a project, you just go to their site and they'll have a link. You click there and it brings you up to all the ones that are verified because they all come from the same contract. So once you get to that screen, you don't have to worry about verifying each one. You just know that everything that's on there is going to be verified. Now, it is a little bit harder when it comes to an artist. An artist can have lots of different styles of art. Maybe this is their first piece and it's super amazing. And you're like, this is the only thing they've ever made. Like, how is this possible? You can do some research, but I think the most popular way is just, the person, or you see their Twitter, or you've been following them. So you kind of feel like you know them, or you trust them, or you've seen their work evolve over time, or versus just going through Rarible, scrolling and picking something. I think it's pretty rare that people just scroll Rarible and buy things.
Okay, that makes sense. What about the people that do scroll Rarible and buy things? I don't know who that could be.
I'm sure people do, but they're probably some of the cheaper pieces. Like, I doubt they're buying a piece for 10 ETH that they just found. And
10 ETH is quite expensive.
Yeah.
Where can you buy NFTs then? Like, where can you buy pictures, music, virtual land, like avatar characters and wearables?
I think it's important to first find NFTs that is something that you're already into. Like, I don't suggest somebody hopping on and just buying something from Nifty Gateway because they're worth a lot of money. If you're into gaming, you're going to want to look into several different NFT games, kind of find one that fits your play style, and then start looking into the NFTs. The wearables, there's different ones for different metaverses. There's different styles. Like, you want to find something that speaks to you because, you're paying money for a collectible in a way. It's like, you're not going to buy a poster that you put in your room of something that you don't want to look at every day.
Okay, awesome. But are there particular places where you'd buy music as opposed to art, which is like on places like Rarible?
There's not really like a good hub for the music specifically. There is a lot of music NFTs on Rarible and OpenSea. I would say we're definitely lacking in a more organized community for the music NFTs, but I feel like that's in the works.
Yeah, no, it definitely sounds like something which will be or should be definitely in the works soon. 100%. Yeah. If you're interested in collecting NFTs, why not start with this podcast? This week's episode cover is brought to you by 2D NFT artist Natto Rare and available as an NFT collectible for Series 1 of this podcast. Each collector receives a future access token to NFTiesMe from live events, meet and greets, and deeper access into the minds of my guests. Check out NFTiesMe on OpenSea and Rarible. Now back to the show. How do NFT royalties work then?
Yeah, so in the most simple form, if you mint something on Rarible and somebody buys it on Rarible and resells it on Rarible, you will get 10% of the secondary sale. Now, it does get a bit more complicated if people take your item from Rarible and go to OpenSea and try to sell it or sell it on another marketplace, because the royalties aren't necessarily built into the NFT itself, but the platform holds that information. It's in the UI. So there are ways to mint on Rarible and have royalties carry over, but you have to control your own contract, which just means starting a collection in Rarible. You pay an extra fee. So when you mint it, instead of saying Rarible, it says, NFTIgnition or whatever. And then when you're on OpenSea, you have the ability to make changes to that.
So so basically an artist creates their piece of artwork. They say that they're always going to get 10% of the fee whenever it's sold on, for whatever price it's sold on. So that fee could go up or it could go down. Is 10% the standard, or can you, so you can't manipulate that, whether it's 5% or 30%?
You can edit it, but it's pretty rare that people actually do.
Okay. All right. No, that's really interesting. Like, it's literally like what you're saying about democratizing the arts. Like, it doesn't matter if that artwork isn't in your possession anymore. You're still able to get liquidity from it, which is, it's awesome, really. Where do you recommend storing your NFTs?
So the thing about NFTs is they stay in your wallet regardless of where you're listing them. So you could have the same NFT listed on Rarible and OpenSea or other marketplaces, and you're still holding it in like your MetaMask, for example. You can link your MetaMask to your ledger for your more expensive ones. Like if you have a Beeple or something that you spent a lot of money on, you probably want to have that MetaMask linked to a ledger or a hard wallet. But if you're spending $10 on an NFT, it's probably not necessary.
Do you have a Beeple, Danielle?
I do not.
Oh.
I don't.
Neither do I. Don't worry. No judgment.
I make a point to buy art from smaller artists. I mean, I could buy 1 million NFTs for the price of what he charges for his. So, even though I could probably make a lot of money off of it, I still just, in my mind, I'd rather buy from smaller artists.
Although if you did want to get in on some of these bigger artists, I think they do sort of drops on Nifty Gateway where they're, I think they call them open editions, where for $1 or something, if you're lucky enough to get there in time, they'll do 100 copies for $1 and random people can collect them.
They're very competitive, and I know it's changed a lot of people's lives. So I love that they do that. I'm always so busy and I'm very forgetful. So I haven't lucked out on them. Just same with Top Shots. I haven't gotten any Top Shots. I've tried 3 times. And
oh my God,
every other time I forget.
I know, right? And or the website doesn't work or something goes wrong and it gets delayed because there are so many people trying to get on it. Yeah, in fact, I've actually got money still sitting in my Topshop account. I should get that out at some point because I just don't see me getting through anytime soon. I hear people using the word Ethereum and Ether a lot. And are they the same thing or are they different things?
I mean, most people would say that it's the same thing. Technically, it's not. So Ethereum is the network, the blockchain. Ether is the actual token of the blockchain and what you pay for gas. People use them interchangeably, but technically it's like the bank and the money.
Okay, so Ether is the money, Ethereum is the bank.
Yes.
Okay. All right, that makes sense. So if people are saying, I'm going to buy Ether, that makes sense.
Yes.
As well. Okay. Okay, got it. Can you tell us a bit more about DeFi and what DAO tokens are?
Well, a DAO is basically a company without one person making the decisions. Instead of them making the decisions and implementing whatever they decide, they go to the community and use the community to vote on things. And basically whatever the community decides is what happens, regardless of what the team or whoever on the team thinks about it. And then I'm sorry, what was the other part of that question?
Just wanted to know a bit more about DeFi, decentralized finance.
DeFi. Yeah. So DeFi, I mean, my friend Crypto Finally, if you're familiar with her, that is pretty much how she has made all of her money. It's crazy what you can do in DeFi. She got in it early. Most people like me, I was too afraid of the impermanent loss. So I stayed back. But now that I've kind of learned more about it, everyone should be in DeFi. Basically, you normally would take two different tokens, like, let's say ETH and wrapped Bitcoin, for example. So if you take ETH when it's at 3,000, and let's say Bitcoin was at 50,000, just to make it easy, and put those two together and make an LP token out of it. Now,
what's an LP token?
It's called liquidity provider token.
Okay, right.
So this new LP token, you then put in a pool. And basically what happens is anytime one of the tokens change, the other token will move over to balance it out. So you'll always have 50% of each token, regardless of the price. So Bitcoin goes up to 60, ETH goes down to 20. Now we're going to move some of that Bitcoin over to ETH. So you still have an even amount, but now you also have less tokens. And that's what impermanent loss is. Now, this loss is only permanent if you withdraw it at this time. If you wait for ETH to go back up to 3,000 and Bitcoin to be either at or above 50, then you have no loss. There's no impermanent loss. So it's just an issue of timing it, your withdrawal, so that the token's either at or above what they were at when you deposited them. But if you're getting a high enough APY, it doesn't really matter how much your impermanent loss is. Like, there are websites where you can get 10,000% APY, and that's over a year. But over a year, you would, have gotten 10,000% of these tokens. So the 20% you may have lost on impermanent loss doesn't seem like a big deal anymore. Now, the higher the APY, the higher the risk, and probably the higher the impermanent loss as well. So you do have to take that into account. The riskier ones, you probably should put less in, maybe hold it for less time or whatever. But they do also have the option of DeFi with stable coins. And there's pretty much no impermanent loss if you're staking like USDC and DAI. They're both pegged at $1. It might go up a penny or two, but for the most part, there's not going to be any impermanent loss. Now, you're probably only going to be earning 15% on APY instead of 10,000%, but you also know that when you withdraw those tokens, you don't have any loss.
Wait, so you can earn 10,000 interest APY on a token. Who is doing that? Where is that happening?
So usually if you kind of have to hunt for new DeFi projects and be the first, in the beginning. So the APY is based on pool. So say they drop 1,000 tokens a day in this pool. Now, if at the beginning you have a lot and you're 10% of the pool, you get 10% of the total drop. Now, say somebody comes and they add $100,000 into this pool. Now you were 10%, now you're 1%. They're still dropping the same amount of tokens a day into the pool. Now you're getting 1% of the total tokens. So APY always goes down over time in DeFi projects. The earlier you are, the more you're going to make.
Okay, that's like crypto in general, I think. Yeah. Okay, makes sense. What's your favorite cryptocurrency?
I probably would say my own, the projects that I'm working on, and that would be Zoo's protocol and Cats from Crypto Arena, which is currently in their second round of pre-sale.
Okay, so you have your own cryptocurrency. Tell us about that.
I mean, I'm just part of the team for both, but Crypto Arena is a exchange that is the first self-decentralizing exchange. So what that means is over time, the profit sharing starts at 25% and goes up to 100% to the point where we're completely nonprofit and all of the profits are going back to the users and the token holders. And it's gamified. We use something called glory points. So everything you do on the platform, either just holding the token, trading, there's competitions, we have an NFT game. Everything you do on the platform earns you glory points. The more glory points you have, the larger percentage of the revenue sharing that you get.
Okay. So why would people buy your token or coin? I'm so confused. That went over my head.
Okay. So let's think about it like this. So let's say Binance started to share its profits with its users. They decided, okay, so for example, this year Binance has estimated that they'll make probably about $800 million over the course of 2021 for profits. Now, if they said, we're going to give 100% of this money back to the people who use our exchange, and if they hold our tokens, you get a percentage of it too. So that's $800 million that will go back to people that use the exchange, that hold the tokens, that compete in our events, that play our NFT game. They will make all of the money from the platform.
I see what you mean. So is that how DAO works, basically? Almost, because you kind of own the platform. The users own the platform. It's not owned by one sort of entity.
Sort of, except it's very rare to find something where 100% of the revenue is shared back to the users. It's usually like a 5%. So, and it does take some time for us to get all the way to 100%. It starts at 25, and that just gives us like a marketing budget and a budget to build the platform itself. But then once that process has been completed, it's a nonprofit exchange. So we will definitely be the first and only crypto project that's nonprofit, completely 100% going back to the users.
Awesome. Can anyone create their own cryptocurrency?
It depends on what kind they're trying to create. The easiest way would probably be BitClout, and that's extremely centralized. It's still in beta mode, but every person who has a profile on there has their own token, and it's somewhat similar to Twitter. There's also social tokens, like Roll is an example of, it's like an art server, and everybody in there has their own token, and they can like gift people their tokens, and those kind of live in Discord. Like you don't see those, people aren't buying them on Uniswap or whatever, because they're usually gifted out to people or traded. But there's lots of ways to make just like a social or personal token. Now, if you're trying to make like a project token, there are things like Open Zeppelin where you can go in there and kind of custom build your own, like ERC20.
What's an ERC20?
So that's what you call the tokens that live on the Ethereum blockchain. Ether being the most common, but then, there's the stable coins and all of these other thousands of DeFi projects and other things that also can be on the same chain.
Danielle, I feel you're like just this big crypto brain. Like I just feel I'm just sweeping up your knowledge. It's just like so much stuff. It's crazy. It's amazing. I love how you also mentioned BitClout as well, because BitClout, I've actually just signed up for BitClout. It's a decentralized digital currency, and it's where if you're part of a community, you can essentially invest in that creator. So I've created one for the NFTeaseMe podcast. So if anyone listening or viewing this video wants to be a part of this podcast journey, as the first on-chain podcast, there is now a very own BitClout coin for NFTiesMe, and I'll leave the link in the description below. Tell us something super interesting that is happening right now in the NFT space.
This is, a really great opportunity for me to bring up one of the other projects I'm working on, and that's Zoo's protocol. We're doing a lot of stuff right now with NFTs on Matic, but we're also building some stuff that just in general nobody has had before. One of the most exciting examples of that would be we're going to be integrating AWS, which is Amazon Web Services cloud, onto NFT.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then one way we'll be using that is cloud mining. So actually utilizing the Amazon servers to mine like Bitcoin, Ravencoin, Litecoin, and having that go to an NFT. Like whoever holds that NFT receives the token.
Is this like a collaboration or?
Yeah, we're working with them on it. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Awesome. That sounds huge. That's really, really big.
It's it takes a lot of processing power to mine Bitcoin or whatever.
Yeah.
But you can rent a server from Amazon that mines as much as 500 computers would be mining. And you don't even have to worry about the power or the heat coming off of it or it's not at your house. It's somebody else is doing all the maintenance and dealing with that somewhere else. So there's a lot of implications with that, where we could be making mining a lot more feasible for, everyday
a lot more green. And is there a place where you go specifically to do that? To get those Amazon computers or servers?
Yeah, you would have to work directly with AWS at this point. But we are going to make it easier where you'll be able to work through us to get it set up.
Awesome. God, that's so much stuff, Danielle. It's really opened my eyes to a few things in crypto. To be honest, I still feel the more you learn about NFTs, I feel the less you know. So that's kind of the situation I'm in at the moment. I don't know. I don't know how you feel or how the users and viewers feel, but I think it's also good to know that, it doesn't matter if you don't feel like you're an expert on this kind of stuff, because it is so new and everyone's still always learning.
Yeah, for sure. We are constantly every day thinking of new ways that we can use NFTs or new things that we can do with them. So, we haven't even found the limit yet. So definitely keep learning and keep looking into it, because you could be coming up with some idea that, somebody else hasn't come up with yet. We're still at that point.
Danielle, it's now the part of the show where we do a quick fire round of questions. So basically you answer a series of questions and answer it with the first thing that comes into your head. Are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
Ready? Okay. What's the one NFT you've got that everyone wants?
Twerky Pepe's.
Oh my God, I love Twerky Pepe's. I did an interview with him. He's awesome.
He's amazing.
Which is your favorite one?
The Nope Kitty. It's called Nope Kitty.
Awesome. What is the best job you've ever had?
Working for Crypto Arena.
What is the worst job you've had?
Oh gosh, working for United Healthcare.
Really? Why is it so bad?
So I worked in a claims and benefits department. I would go home crying every day because of the things that I had to tell people. Like, I'm so sorry you lost your husband, but you owe $500,000 for his ambulance ride. Or I'm sorry that we're not going to cover your child's dialysis. Or I don't think any human should have to do that every day. It was an awful job. It's just not for me.
No, it really sounds it. It sounds really taxing.
Yeah.
What do you think the future of NFTs is 5 years from now?
Oh, they're going to take over the whole crypto space.
Do you think they'll be bigger than crypto?
I think NFTs are going to bring more people into crypto than Bitcoin.
Awesome. So if you had to envision it, what is the future of NFTs?
Renting a hotel room by buying an NFT, checking in by scanning it when you get into the door, replacing half of the hotel staff with NFTs. All you need is people cleaning their rooms and, one person working at the desk.
Wow.
They'll be everywhere. Your ID, your insurance card, your passport, your license, all of those things can be NFTs.
I'm going to have to make sure we catch up again in 5 years' time.
Okay.
Hold you to that and see what the future has become. Okay, what's been the most random thing to have happened to you or that you've seen happen in the NFT space?
For me, it's the people in my DMs sending me things that they've made of me.
No way.
And they want me to mint it. For example, I had somebody who took a picture of me and drew horns on it and put a dragon on my shoulder and then asked me for $15.
Oh, bless.
Why am I a devil? You couldn't have made me look nice.
What would you like to be if someone was drawing you?
Whatever it is, just don't draw on top of an existing picture. If it's actual art that you made, then you can make me a devil. I don't care. I could be a frog. I just
Oh, okay. Don't make Danielle a devil.
Unless you make it yourself.
Unless you make it yourself. That is also a big thing in this space. You've got to create your own art yourself. Make sure it's your original art. Don't steal art, I think, from people. What's your pet peeve?
I don't know that I have. Oh, filter art, I guess.
Filtered art, very specific.
I don't usually advertise that I'm not a fan of it because, art is art and I know people are working on it. But if you took an image off Google and ran it through an Instagram filter and minted that, to me, step up your game. Filter something you made. Like, I've used filters, but it was something that I drew myself, or a picture that I took, or something that I made that was original in the first place. It wasn't something that I took off of Google.
Okay, so guys, you're not going to find Danielle on Instagram. You will find her on Twitter at NFTIgnition, and she does not like filters. Who is your hero?
Gosh, all of the artists out here that I work with every day, just the people who keep making art even though they're not selling anything, who keep grinding, who just keep working and don't let it get to them, don't give up. I see these people every day and it just motivates me to do the same thing in what I'm doing.
Yeah, no, awesome. Is there a big close-knit artist community, would you say?
Yes, definitely. I wouldn't say it's a cult, but I wouldn't say it's not a cult. We all support each other.
They're drawing devils on you, Danielle.
Right? I'd say it's super important to everybody to support each other, whether it's just retweets, comments, buying each other's art. I think we're all out there just buying each other's stuff and helping each other succeed. And that's one thing that really sets us apart from the regular crypto community, is that we want to see each other make money. We want to help each other make money. We're not bragging, hey, I made this much money more than you did. We're like, yes, we are all paying our rent through art this month. And just the attitudes people have. And if you're not on that wavelength, you're not going to last very long.
Next question I have is, what is your biggest fear?
My biggest fear, my biggest fear, honestly, is like letting my teams down for my projects. For example, like Crypto Arena, I'm the marketing manager. I feel like the success of the entire project is on my shoulders. I have, 6 other people on this amazing team who are busting their little butts every day for months. Like, Lorenzo's been working on this for 3 years. This is a big project. And if it doesn't do well, that's on me.
If you came with a warning label, what would it say?
Non-filtered. If you've ever been in a chat with me on Telegram, even if I'm the mod of the chat, I am very real with people. I'm very transparent with people about who I am and about project in general. And, sometimes people don't expect it. Especially if they see me on Twitter, because, there's only so much you say in tweets. And that's a very filtered version of everybody. But people meet me in Telegram or Discord or via podcast or whatever. I think sometimes they're surprised.
We're just real, basically.
Yeah, I'm real. I'm very real.
That's important in this day and age.
Yeah.
And my final question is, what is your life motto?
Don't half-ass it, or you're going to have to full-ass it later, and then you've ass and a halfed it.
Wow. Is that something that's been passed down from your family? It sounds like a very kind of, I don't know.
No.
Or did you just come up with that?
No, I've been saying that for a while.
Danielle, thanks so much for joining us on the show today.
Yeah, I had so much fun. Thanks for having me.
That is it for this week. If you loved this episode and found it interesting, then tell your mates and give it a like or a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. You can also get involved with the community on socials, and don't forget to hashtag NFTeaseMe.